No one cannot understand Aristotle's political thought and specifically the argument of Aristotle, politics, unless one relates it to the theory of justice, which Aristotle developed in his Nicomachean Ethics, and to the metaphysical belief which he expounded in his Metaphysics. Nicomachean Ethics of Aristotle are divided into four main sections, which the first deals with the view of Aristotle on human nature, which is the starting point of understanding his views on both ethics and politics. It seeks to explain what Aristotle means when he describes man as a social and political animal, or zoon politikon. The second section discusses the theory of justice developed in Aristotle ethics and focuses on Aristotle's elucidation of the concept of justice by reference to the notion of proportional and arithmetical equality. It also includes the two main areas of social life in which the concept of justice has a practical application, the spheres of rectificatory and distributive justice. The third section considered how Aristotle applies his theory of justice in his politics, especially to the problem of the justice distribution of political power. The final section considered the continuing relevance of Aristotle for political philosophy today, especially for the debate between John Rawls and his communitarian critics. Aristotle's views on ethics and politics is his theory of human nature, and his well-known as assertion that man is by nature a social or a political animal. He also suggests nothing more than that individual human beings are sociable or gregarious because they are always to be found living together with others in society or in a polis. However, Aristotle considered it to be a characteristic of man that he alone has any sense of good and evil, of just and unjust. According to him, man is by nature a moral or an ethical being. In his view, for all human beings, a natural life is a life justice, and this characteristic all which differentiate the human species from other species of animals. In Nicomachean Ethics, he insists that some people who do just action are nevertheless not just, and hence also not yet virtuous, if they do this action involuntarily or through ignorance or some other reason, and not for the sake of the action themselves. Aristotle is using the word in two different, though relative, ways. He presupposed that one could meaningfully describe an action as just simply because it is a right action, even though one could also say that the person who performed it is not acting justly if they do so for the wrong reason. Aristotle's political thought on his classification of the various different type of political constitution, the politics, Aristotle applies the theory of justice, which he develops in the Ethics. He starts with Plato's question, who should rule or who should rule in an ideal society? In his view, this is a problem of distributive justice. Aristotle's treatment of this subject is based on two separate arguments. The first focuses on who does the ruling and on the issue of whose interests are promoted by a particular system of a government. If we place these two principles together, then it is clear. Aristotle argues that there are just pure type of constitution possible, although in practice this might be combined in a different ways, thereby generating various type of mixed constitution. The first three pure type of are constitution in which the few or the many rule in the interest of all, or the common interest, and hence justly. Aristotle labeled these types as kingship, aristocracy, and polity, respectively. The other three pure types, which Aristotle calls tyranny, oligarchy, and democracy, are constitution in which the few, or the many rule in their own private interest, hence unjustly. Second argument takes a slightly different tack. It focuses on the issue of what standards should be used when distributing political power among either the citizen or the inhabitants of a polis. There are, he suggests, three possible standards of distribution which might be used here, namely wealth, citizen, and moral virtue or goodness. Thank you.